What's up, guys? My name is LaMighty Trey, and welcome back to another fundamental paper education reaction. Today, we're gonna be reacting to the basic and behavior green alternate universe. There is two parts to this, so we're gonna be reacting to both. I would not be reacting to an explanation video today. Also, shout out to Molly the Rabbit for posting these. So shout out to them. Let's go back again with another banger. Hey, let's go.
Walking across the hallways, finding notebooks, so we mentor, follow every single rule, or he'll take out his wooden ruler, for he is listening and watching.
Is that Dabble?
Everyone's progression, all mistakes have consequences, so answer right with every question. Try to add up excuses, nothing will
Okay,
make a
circle.
difference. Small denotes every door that we open.
Who's this in the green?
Behind we can hear him. There is no place for playtime. Avoid that move from every side. Better to leave them be. Follow his philosophy. This is how we live our lives, searching for the answers inside of every page. And I'm here wondering if one day we'll finally be free from this.
That's supposed to be Abby? Or oh, Alice. I might ask you that explanation video. Oh yeah, they go bait. It's Emily. All right, they're locked in. I hope that's Emily. It look like Emily. Dang. There go Alice.
To get away.
What are you doing?
Y'all, that was cool, but I think I definitely will need that explanation video. Definitely will need that explanation video for that one. But no, that was fire. That was fire for sure. So apparently the green alternate universe is science based, which is why we see them in the laboratory and stuff like that. I recognize Circle. I know Davil just by the little horns on top of her head, or like the antlers on top of her head, so I can tell those two. I didn't notice Bloomy anywhere, unless where is that? Unless this is supposed to be Bloomy. Yeah, I think that's Bloomy right there. So Bloomy, I noticed Davil and Circle. Wait, hold on, I see. No, that's Emily. Emily, the principal. I think this is the principal, right? And I'm not sure who that is. I know that's what's his name? Is it Chip? Or I think is it Chip? I forgot the name. But it's the little brother. All right, let's get to the second one. Singing behavior green 2. This is different.
Hi, I'm Polly. Nice to meet you. And call me Patricia. Buck's your game to shout my name. Will you let me use my whip? So that's one buck, right? But you are wrong. You haven't even let me use my phone. Well, I'll sing you this song. It goes ding dong with the door I open on you. Here's a tip. Abandon ship, or you're gonna see me. Campfire Willie. Oh, hi there. Welcome to my palace. Oh, hi.
Oh my God.
Please don't leave. I have no friends. Oh, hi there. Let's go camping.
Dabble.
Oh, hi there.
I guess this is Bloomy. This is a banger.
Everybody and girl, come dance around. Let's get on it. Give the boys fist and a skipping rope. Gonna make it rain to the door. gonna send you right back to detention. Pay attention to this ascension. 16 bits of dodgy tension. You cry, I just hit harder. You're wrong, now speed up faster. I rigged this for my pleasure. In this classroom, I'm the master. I'm gonna make you scared of me. You're my ecstasy.
Oh my. Okay, they boxing. They getting crazy. Why did I hear music? Wait, hold on. That's Katie. Biscuit. I'm not sure, but it seems to be getting louder. He dropped the bomb outside. Wait, what did I say? These bosses be moving fast as freak. Miss Sasha. Oh, Sasha. So that's who the person in the green is. That's Miss Sasha. Okay. Circle. Don't put it on her for too long, or she'll go blind. Oh my God.
ハイトールドユー We can solve this problem オアゼルブスハリスワズロングホエンシーセイドウィーワーユースはいはいはいはいはいはいはいはい
I hear this. Sasha, don't punch your co-workers. Oh, through the wall though? Oh.
Rats, you got away. Guess I'll do.
That was fire. That was tough. They were boxing in this one. Like they was actually like throwing hands on this and shooting too. But actually, I got through those pretty quickly. So honestly, I can go ahead and react to the explanation.
People have been asking me to cover the Basic in Behavior Green, or aka the Science Alternate Universe,
Right.
created by a YouTuber named Molly. So in this video, I'm going to do a quick recap of the animation and also kind of break down what's happening in this alternate universe and why. Now, the animation starts out with Miss Sasha walking down the hallway, and in this universe, she seems to act as a nurse or like a physician. And we also see 3 students right off the back that are locked away, those kids being Claire, Bubbles, and Ingle, which kind of makes sense because in the original animation, these 3 were like best friends. In the next scene, we see Miss Stavel, who is a scientist in this universe, and then we see Miss Grace, who is the lab manager. And they seem to be placing up signs to help keep the other employees safe. Because while at this point we don't know what happened to the children, we can confirm that they are in some type of hospital or science lab and have to be locked away for either their own good or for the safety of
like for
others.
me, I'm not gonna lie, the only thing that'd be confusing for me is like, I think like in these alternate universe, of course, because it's an alternate universe, like they be changed, like the character designs be changing just slightly. So like I'll be like, dang, who's that? Who the freak is that? Is that Davil? That Bloomy? Like I don't know.
Or
like
both.
I really
Which
don't
is why
know
we
who
see
it
this
is,
sign
but-
here that says, do not go near the students, and also don't look into Bubbles' eyes or Robbie's eyes. And the reason for this becomes clear very quickly. It seems that Bubbles' eyes have the ability to put people in like a trance or to hypnotize them and basically force them to do her bidding. And this is why we actually see Miss Sasha walking around with her eyes looking like Bubbles. And even though Miss Circle catches on to what's happening, she's not fast enough to actually stop Sasha from opening the door to Abby's room, allowing him to escape. And I know that it's hard to recognize.
I was
Abby
right. That
because
was
she looks so
Abby.
different,
I
but I'll
got
explain
that.
why in a bit. The next part of this animation is very reminiscent of the original Basics in Behavior episode by Katie, with Abby running down the hallway, being chased by Miss Circle at first, and then eventually we see the other teacher named Mr. Demi actually hop in to chase him as well. But it seems that Abby is no longer just a defenseless little boy, as we see him sprout tendrils from his back that look very similar to Alice's tendrils. And we know that he is at least somewhat strong because even Miss Circle tells Mr. Demi to run away, showing that she doesn't really want the smoke with this kid.
So that's not Bloomy. Okay, so I was see, I did get that wrong. So do Bloomy even appear in this at all? Like, cause I thought that was Bloomy for a second. Like, you know, like of course I thought that was Bloomy. So
You remember in the original
It's
animation, she beat up Abby pretty bad. The next scene has two
Right.
details that stood out for me. The first being the green sky outside, which may give us a hint as to why the children are all sick, and also the close sign on the hospital/lab building, showing that this place is no longer able to take on new patients. We also see Miss Emily, who is my favorite character, and she's a lab
She's my favorite character too.
tech in this universe and seems to be observing the children. And right next to her is Miss Bloomy, and she is the principal investigator for this lab. And I know that sounds kind of weird, almost more like a police title.
Okay.
But basically it just means that she is the person that is in charge of the research that has been conducted here. And that's one thing that I really
Right,
want to point
okay.
out here. It may look like the adults are doing like experiments on these kids, but they're really not. They're simply just trying to keep them contained and do research to help cure these children. Something else that I found interesting here is that Ruby, which is this little TV girl, who in my last video I said reminds me of Skibbity Toilet, and this character here, I believe his name is Scale, they are both in the same room, and it seems like Ruby's face has been broken. And it's hard to say if Skill actually did this or if this is just something that happened to her outside of this
I mean,
room.
they
But I
probably
think
just
it's
threw
fairly
up,
safe to
threw her
like,
right up in
imply
there.
that these children are
Broke her.
prone to violence, which may be why they have to be locked up in the first place. Now in the next scene, we see Mr. Demi again, and this time he's looking into the room that houses Robbie and Riley. And just a little fun fact here, it looks like Riley is writing something into the wall, and it may be I love Oliver, but I'm not sure. Now here's where we see Mr. Demi make a
Oh, yeah,
mistake
who is
by
Oliver?
looking Robbie in his eyes.
I seen him
and
before,
falling
but
under
like
his
I
control,
don't think I
because as I
truly
said
like
earlier,
took in
both
who
Robbie
Oliver
and
is.
Bubble have the abilities to hypnotize people with their eyes. And this causes him to hit the button that says liberating experiments, which basically means to set the children free. And the place basically falls into chaos, with some of the children even attacking each other, like we see here with Ingle basically bullying Edward. And it may be hard to see in this image, but just a little fun fact here, or I should say a sad fact, Edward is actually blind. But before he lost his eyes, he also had the ability to hypnotize people. But I think his blindness is why maybe some of the other kids are bullying him a little bit, especially Ingle. Next, we see the adults doing their best to keep all the students in check, but once Miss Grace sees that it's a losing battle, even after knocking out a few kids, she puts a couple of bullets into Alice's lab door, and then we see Alice come out and basically put everything in check very quickly. Basically picking up all the students with her tendrils and throwing them back into their cells. Well, throwing all of them into their cells except Oliver, who she gently places down, and then he walks into his cell.
Oh,
and we
so
know
that's
that she
Oliver.
does this
Okay.
because that's her boo, basically. And I'm not just making that up. by
that's
the way.
who. Okay,
The
yeah, I
creator of this
remember. Okay,
animation
now,
basically
okay.
said on Twitter that Alex doesn't even care about these other kids. She's only helping so that she can find a way to cure Oliver, which makes sense when you really think about it. The animation ends with the teachers picking themselves up and trying to go back to business as usual because they still need to cure these children. And of course, we get the iconic line from the original animation where Miss Circle asks, what are you doing? But with that, now that we've actually covered what happened in the animation, let me explain why all this is happening in the first place. So from what I was able to actually gather, it seems like something happened that caused the students to be exposed to a large amount of radiation. And the reason that Abby looks like Alice in her transformed state is because when Abby was exposed to the radiation, he tried to attack Oliver. So of course, Alice had to jump in and save her boyfriend. So in the animation, Abby is nowhere near as powerful as Alice, but he does have about 1/10 of her power, which is still a huge upgrade considering that he was pretty weak before. And we can assume that he's at least on par with Miss Circle, or maybe a little more powerful than she is, because she did not want to fight that kid. Something else that you may have noticed at the end of the animation is that when Miss Sasha takes off her face mask, she has severe damage around her mouth. This is because she was the teacher who actually took the most damage from the radiation and the students when she was trying to save them and get them to this lab. So basically, while some of the other teachers were trying to save themselves, Miss Sasha went out, took those students out of the radiation and got them into the lab, even though they were fighting her the whole time. So while in some of the other animations, Miss Sasha didn't have a huge role, in this one, she is definitely like the hero. And I like that on Twitter, Molly actually put up a picture that kind of shows the scars that she has all over her body. We can see here that she got pretty banged up, all just to
I ain't gonna lie,
save
that
her
is
students.
fire.
So kudos to her. And next, I just want to go over the sprites for each of these characters because they are actually really well done. Like right here, we have Claire, Ingle, Bubbles, Lana, and then Abby. And I just want to point out that it seems like the radiation has changed these people like physically. So Ingle
Right.
definitely looks more monstrous, but when you look at Claire,
Oh
she
my
almost looks like she
God.
has hooves now, and her limbs are all elongated, and she has like sharp teeth almost. And with Lana,
Oh.
her little sock puppet hands have turned into like real snakes or monsters of some sort. And this is kind of our first hint that the radiation didn't just like make these kids sick, but it changed their whole like body composition almost. In the second
Yeah.
image, we see that Alice is just a regular scientist and she seems to be fine. She got away from the radiation. But Oliver, Zip, and Edward are all a bit messed up. I like that with Zip, you actually get
okay.
to see her dragon wings here, which I think are pretty cool. But I know a lot of people are freaked out by like her black lips and the sharp teeth. But personally, I like her design. This right here is the older version of the Oliver design, but I think I have the new one here as well. I'll show in a minute. Right here, we have Petunia, Lizzie, Kevin, and then Cubby. And actually, I think Cubby, if that's how you say his name, is one of my favorite designs.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Cubby is fire. Cubby looks
And we see Kevin
tough.
right here is another one of those characters that is blind, but I don't think that he has
Like,
the same
Cubby's
eyes
up
as,
there
like,
on
Robbie and
design.
Bubbles, so I don't think he can hypnotize people. And right here we have Robbie, Riley, Ruby, and Skell. And then right here is the newer version of Oliver, and I think this is one that Molly actually wants people to know about, so I wanted to make sure to show this one. And personally, I do like this version of him a bit more. He looks a bit more vicious here. And while this next part isn't super important, I do like that Molly also put up this little chart showing what some of the teachers and students actually like. So as we see up here, Miss Circle obviously loves her Oreos. We see that Mr. Demi is a fan of Coca-Cola. We see that Alice loves rabbits or bunnies, which surprised me because she comes off as such like a, you know, mean person, but she likes little animals. Miss Sasha is a big fan of Pepsi, and so on and so forth. And like I said, I know it's not super important, but I did think it was just a little fun fact to throw in. And even though this animation was really short, I felt like it was really well done, and it had an interesting backstory and character design. And if you want to support Molly, you can click on this video here, go to her channel, check out the video for yourself, like and subscribe.
All right.
Thank you.
Now we got the explanation. Did he explain part 2, or did he only explain part 1? He explained part 2, y'all. We got that. Let's go.
Second
All right.
episode of the
I got no
Basic
time. I got no
Behavior
time.
Green, or AKA the Science AU. So in this video, I'm going to go ahead and explain what's happening in this episode, and then I'm going to go ahead and connect it to the original episode and just put together what we learned overall about this AU. Now, this episode starts off where episode 1 left off, with the teachers actually trying to catch Abby, because if you remember from the first episode, Alice was able to throw all the children who escaped their room back into them, but Abby was nowhere to actually be seen. And it's hard for the teachers to contain him because he currently holds about 10% of the power that Alice holds, making him a force to be reckoned with for the average teacher. Even Miss Circle was afraid to deal with him. Next, we see that Miss Emily is running a check on Kevin and giving him some kind of medicine that I assume is supposed to help treat the symptoms that he received from being exposed to the radiation. Although it doesn't seem like the medication has done a whole lot for the students up to this point. And I'll speak a little bit more about that in a bit. Now, it seems like the students have managed to break out of their rooms again, and we see the teachers struggling to get them contained. Starting with Mr. Demi actually trying to contain Claire with this net here. And while it is hard to see, Zip actually flies right by and rips it off. And then we see that a bunch of other students are free as well. But I think the most dangerous here is going to be Robbie and then Bubbles being at a close second. And in case you have forgotten, both of these students have the ability to hypnotize a person if they look into their eyes, which we saw in the first animation with Miss Sasha and Mr. Demi. And to make matters even worse, Robbie seems to have the ability to summon these spectral hands, like he's using Mage Hand, and he can also levitate. Now, next we see that Mr. Demi is trying to sound an alarm so that he can get Alice back out here to clean up this mess. But he's stopped by Bubble, and then Ingle basically just pushes him into the ground. And I just want to point out that before Robbie starts freeing people, he makes sure to go and flip off all the teachers, showing that he doesn't appreciate being locked inside this facility, even though they are trying to help the children in a way, I guess. But eventually, he does actually lock in and start to release the rest of the students. But Miss Sasha and Miss Circle are ready this time and immediately start throwing shooting this like green substance out of this gun out here. After this, we get a look at the guards outside. The cat here is named Biscuit, and this character here is based off the original creator, or AKA Katie. Next, we see that Zip throws a bomb to try to take out the guards so that she and the other students can escape, especially because it looks like the teachers actually have the outbreak under control this time, being able to get most of the students back into their rooms without having to rely on Alice. But it does seem like Zip is the only character that they were not able to catch, which makes sense when you consider just how fast she is and the fact that she can actually fly. But this is when Miss Grace calls Alice and Aiden to finish the job. They're able to shoot her down with some kind of electric blast, bringing her back down to Earth and containing all the students again. And now that we know what happened in this episode, let me give you the overview of what's happening in this AU and why. So basically, there was a bomb that was dropped near the old school that the children attended.
While
some of the students were able to escape or put on gas masks, many of them were exposed to radiation, which is why so many of the students are acting violent and have like weird bodily changes. One thing that I want to note is that while most of the teachers were busy trying to save themselves, Miss Sasha was the only one that went out into the radiation and pulled all the students to safety, which is why her body is so scarred and kind of messed up in this video. Now, as you can imagine, a lot of the parents were upset that their children became sick while under the care of the school, so they wanted to sue. And in order to get out of paying, Miss Grace took all the students and the teachers to an abandoned hospital and locked the students away so that they could find a cure for them, which will obviously be tough considering that none of them really seem to know what they're doing, but at least they're trying to make things right in a way. Hopefully this helps you understand why the sky outside is green and why the teachers are not actually trying to take the students out in this AU. All in all, I was happy to see that Molly made a part 2 for this series, and I hope that we get to see if the children actually get cured at some point.
That was fire.
So with that being said, if you enjoyed this video,
I'm
make sure to
happy
check
I
out
did
this
watch
video on the screen here. Subscribe today to become a member of the Orange Force, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Peace, peace.
Let's go. All right, so I'm actually happy I did react to these. I honestly did that in a good amount of time. I thought it was gonna be a little longer, but no, we're good. But yeah, I'm actually, once again, I'm happy that I did watch these because I was a little confused on what was going on. But yeah, like it being a science alternate universe is actually pretty cool. I like the character designs in this one is definitely fire for sure. Especially what was that one character? I forgot the name already, but he showed it in the first explanation. Like he was like the tall one, but yeah, his design was actually pretty fire. But yeah, they got the boxing, and I like that. I like that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys did, you guys know what to do. Hit the like down below and subscribe to join the Legendary Mighty Gang. And I'll see you guys in the next one. So stay safe, stay mighty, peace.